Hey advisors, are you afraid of getting new success or getting success, right? So I literally just got off a call with one of our clients in our community, and it was a one-on-one call, and he brought up this particular question which I felt very, very interesting. And the question was, how do we overcome the fear of having success? When I first think of that question, I'm like, okay, it's weird, right? Like, why would anyone fear success? As we dive further into the conversation, what I realized was that, the fear of success, right, mainly comes in from dive deep into like two different factors. I think one of it is that, sometimes when we have too much success or when you have too much money, let's say, imagine your industry, you just join and then your first 6 months, 7 months, right? You suddenly earn like 10, 20, 30, 40 grand or whatever amount of money is that has been way beyond what you have earned before. So it's kind of like breakthrough kind of success, right? I realized that one of the things that reason why people fear this kind of success, like subconsciously, is because they don't know what to do with the money. That's usually the first thing, right? They don't know what to do with the money. Sometimes they might feel like, money makes someone become a little bit more stupid because they end up spending it all, or they're spending on things that they don't know whether it's a good decision or not, right? So you just think about the very fact that last time when you don't have too much money or you don't earn as much, you are restricted by the amount of money you have. Your decisions and choices that you have in life is restricted to a certain extent by your beliefs, your values, and also with the amount of money that you have, right? So just imagine like, you only have $10 to live a day. You can only go to so many restaurants or places for eating and living and whatnot. Now, but compared to imagine that every day you got, I don't know, $10,000 to spend, the amount of choices that you have literally just expands and increases, right? So the problem here is that when you're faced with so many decisions and choices that you can actually take or make, what happens is that you will face with this fear of like, okay, you don't know whether this is the right decision or not. What if it's the wrong one, right? What if it's something that is not really the most ideal and you spend it on something that you don't like or is a waste of money, etc., right? So, or become one of those, I think and we're having this conversation. So I think one of the fears that this person had was also of what if the money that he had, he lose it all over again, right? Like he lost the money and he just spends it and he's back to being someone that, doesn't have as much money in the past, right? So that was the first fear, right? And what I feel here when I was sharing my experiences and really looking at this angle, right, is I think the key here, to overcome this first fear of having new success, of like fearing that you lose your money and whatnot, is to really, really plan and sit down and prepare, like educate yourself on how you should spend your money, right? Like so many times when I go on calls, whether is it a sales call or a coaching call or whatnot, I realized that nobody really teaches financial advisors on like how to plan the money or allocate the money, not only for like investments, like your personal stuff, but also on how to grow the business, etc., right? And so I was sharing with him, I said like, maybe I'll do this in the next video. But I think the key point is that, there will be different buckets, right, on how you should allocate the money, certain percentages, etc., of every month income, the paycheck that you have and whatnot, right? So I think having financial literacy is extremely important when it comes to planning your own finances and also your business, your advisory business, and how you intend to grow it and how to maybe weather over bad days, etc., right? So I think that's how I was sharing. I felt like that was the biggest one, right? To really know clearly where your money goes, right? And because I think we always have this projection or this image of we worry that we'll become those lottery winners, right? Where we didn't have money and then we got lucky and then we had a lot of money and then we become those people that spend away and squander away all the money and then we're left with nothing again, right? So I think that's really kind of stems from like one of the fears and the kind of imagination that we have. And when we dive in deeper, I realized there's another fear or another reason why they fear like new success, right? And the other fear, which I think will be more applicable for maybe some of you who's watching this video, maybe you achieve your MDRT, COT, and you achieve certain form of success, right? I think one of the biggest reasons why they fear is that when you achieve a certain amount of money or you achieve a breakthrough, there's a fear of uncertainty. And what I mean by that is that you fear that you are unable to sustain that success, right? It's kind of like imagine you do MDRT for the first time, right? And then one of the worries that what if next year you can't do it again? What if next year you cannot achieve the same amount of success that you had or even more, right? And I think one of the reasons why they have this fear is because, or why they have this uncertainty, right, is because we are unable to understand the cause and effect of things. So what I mean here is that, let's say the effect, is it getting MDRT, having more money, having more income is an effect, is a result, right, of a particular action, behavior, and whatnot, right? And sometimes when we do not know clearly, like, what are the things that we are doing, or what are the thoughts that we are thinking that get us to a certain goal, or get us to a certain amount of success, what happens is that we only enjoying the effects, but we don't know the cause. And the problem is that when we don't know the cause, we are unable to trace back to exactly what are the things that got us here. And because we don't know, we get into this idea of like, what if we are just lucky, right? What if we just might be a fluke, right? A one-trick pony, for example, right? So I think the key thing here is that I was sharing with like the other advisor. I was sharing that, one of the key things is that when you're having success and yet you feel uncertain, you don't know like how long is this going to last, etc. I think the key is always to trace back to the cause, right? So look back in the last 30, 60 days, the last 3, 4, 5 months, whatever the duration is, look back and look at the things that you have been doing. Look at your behaviors, right? Maybe were you prospecting more? Do you had a different mindset? Were you in a different state? Were you in a better mood? Were you coming from a state of abundance rather than scarcity, right? What were you thinking? What are some of the routines and habits that you have? Because when you look at all this, right, more often than not, these will definitely be the reasons why you have this kind of effects or having this kind of results, right? Because in the world, and this is literally just like the law of the universe, right? That every time there's a cause, there will always be an effect. Cause and effect, right? So the effects that you're experiencing right now need not always be a lucky thing or like a one-off kind of thing, right? You can look at the cause, and if you're able to replicate and trace back exactly the steps that you've been doing, it gives you that certainty that, cool, in order for me to get this effect or more, I can more or less do the same things that I was doing and replicate and know that, okay, I'm on the right track. Now, of course, they might need some tweaking here and there, but I think you get a point of like understanding that the results and effects that you're having is because of a cause, and you're able to understand and have the kind of certainty that you're able to make it over again, right? So that's kind of like the conversation that we had, and I think many a times we always want those breakthroughs, all those success here in life, but at the same time, every time we get to a different place, we are faced with different problems, right? So which is why one of the quotes that I truly believe in is that in life, as the quote unquote the quality of your life, the standard of living increases and becomes better, you don't have lesser problems, right? Life is about never having lesser problems. Life is always about choosing which problems you have, right? And so therefore you can be either broke and you have a problem trying to pay rent, trying to earn money, trying to go overseas and whatnot, or you can be rich and you have a lot of success and everything else, and then you face the problem of having expectations of yourself, probably having even living up to other people's expectations, right? Maybe you have a problem of like, okay, how do you handle this money all over again, and how to move forward with that, right? So I think this kind of like something that I believe in, right? It's never about having lesser problems, but about choosing which problems that you want to have. Okay, so I hope this video serves you well and give you a better idea, especially if you're an advisor that have gotten some amount of success and you don't know, and you have this fear, right? Because subconsciously this could be the fear that is holding you back from achieving the same success or even more success, right? Because you're afraid that you might not be able to make it. You're afraid that you might not be able to do it again consistently, right? You don't want just to be a one-time MDRT, right? Because to a certain extent, if you do one-time MDRT and then next year, third year, you don't do it, you do even way lesser than the first round of MDRT that you've gotten, maybe you feel some of shame, some of guilt and whatnot, right? So this could be a fear that's really, really holding you back, right? And I think back again, if that's one of the fears of that is holding you back from like moving forward, then maybe I think, if you're able to trace back the things that you have been doing, the things that you have done to get you the success that you had in the past, right? I think more often than not, this gives a good footprint, a good idea of like the things that you should be doing so you can get to the same level of success again. Okay, so I hope you guys find this video useful. I literally filmed it right after the call because it's all fresh. I just typed down a few bullet points and really just to get it all out and to really share with you guys and you amazing advisors that don't have to be afraid of new success. Okay, and if you do fear, these are things that you can do. Okay, so anyway, if you find this video valuable, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts as well, right? And I'll see you in the next video.